with the arrival of the figure in the negotiations. There's a lot of components, economic components, to this project, many of which are commercial components that we're only starting to see the beginnings of by the construction of these villas and things that have been discussed. The main product that had to be put in place was a non-commercial element, or characterized as non-commercial elements, because they required a very dramatic investment of capital, which in a standalone project you would never make because you would never get a return. In economic terms, it's called like a loss leader. It's a thing that brings people in and stimulates the interest, but without other economic components, it would never make a profit, so therefore a profit-making entity would not invest. And that has to do with the track itself, and the number of venues related to the track, which were called in the agreements non-commercial elements. The total of the non-commercial elements were estimated to cost over phases 1, 2, and 3 was estimated to be $80 million. The figure that the developer made it clear that they could afford to pay, and they couldn't, based on the other numbers they were dealing with in connection with the project, they couldn't go above this figure, was $350,000 associated with that $80 million component. There are millions of dollars worth of other components to this project that will be taxed at the normal assessment basis, which deals with these residential components, which will be regularly taxed, that are coming as part of this project. There are also commercial elements that are anticipated to be built later, including hotels and certain restaurants connected with the hotels, and some other things that may be fully taxed or may get a 5-year abatement. Depends on the circumstances, depends on that deal with those particular matters, but it certainly was a different thing. So we're talking about the component of the track that was subject to the 15-year. And the language that was used and negotiated was proportionately. In other words, they would pay it proportionately as those non-commercial elements were phased in. It was estimated that phase 1 would represent half of those, $40 million. And therefore, the proportionate share of the pilot would be $100